Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. So, this is the end of season 2 of Good Night, and in celebration of which, we are going to do a clip show for tonight. Not an actual show, because John is traveling. Last time we did one of these, he was in San Jose. This time he's in New Jersey. I'm not quite sure what he's doing in New Jersey, but like I said before, God knows I can't host this show. So, end of season 2, what does that mean? Well, we are going to go through all of the clips from the season that we think are notable or funny or whatever, and we're going to show them off to you in a supercut. And we're going to start off with some of our unparalleled news coverage. We did our best to go out and get some really hard-hitting stories for you, and unfortunately most of them were Disney-related because Disney's in the news a lot. But either way, we did our best to try to make it funny and bring that to you. So here you go, some of our finest news coverage.
In more horrifying news, a recent study published in the BBC purports that younger people are growing horns in the back of their head due to increased phone usage. While the scientists that conducted the study refute the term horns, many media outlets have rolled with it. And we will too, because it's a great mix of hilarious and terrifying. The study concludes that because young people spend more time than previous generations leaning forward to look at their phones, the added stress strengthens muscles behind the spine, resulting in a growth coming from the bottom of the skull. Many in the field have been quick to refute the study, citing that there is no clear correlation between phone use and the horns, and many say that posture alone is not enough to make such a change in bone structure. But to officially test it, we had some of our crew sit down and look at their phones for a couple days. Here's the result. Pretty spectacular stuff. They'll be stuck with those horns for the rest of their lives, but sometimes you have to think of the greater good. In sports news, the Toronto Raptors won the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history while we were on break, and Canada collectively partied, including rapper Drake, who celebrated the win with 2 new songs. However, it seems that nobody celebrated harder than head coach Nick Nurse, who was brought out to perform at a sold-out show in Toronto. The band in question, the famous Canadian outfit the Arkells, accompanied Nurse for a rendition of a Stevie Wonder song. Nick Nurse killed it, and on stage, despite reportedly being very nervous before going out. We have also gotten word that Brad Stevens has begun practicing the guitar in hopes that he'll get the opportunity to play with the Dropkick Murphys when Boston wins the championships. But with the way this offseason is going, I doubt that he'll get a chance anytime soon. In ridiculous news, have you ever driven over a pothole so many times you just had enough? Well, a man in Kansas City is fed up with the city's inability to fill potholes, so he had a birthday party for a 3-month-old pothole outside of his house. Frank Serino, a legend in his own right, bought a cake for the aging divot and lit a candle, according to KCTV 5 News. He reportedly didn't sing happy birthday to the pothole because it was too hot outside. It's a clever way of getting the city's attention on things like this, and the city did get wind of this coverage, but as expected, the pothole still has not been filled. The city says they're working through a backlog and will get to Serino's pothole eventually. The 2 takeaways on this story: citizens are fed up with potholes in June, and this picture of Serino staring at the pothole is a work of modern art. Now, last week we picked up and commented on the story by Frank Serino, a man who hated the potholes on his street so much that he gave it a birthday party in hopes that the city would notice. After Kansas City news station KCTV5 ran the story and it gained national headlines, the city did in fact come to fix the pothole. They had originally said they would be 3-month wait because of the backlog catalog of holes to fill, but after the popularity of the story, they fixed it the next day along with every pothole on his street. Serino celebrated by throwing the pothole a graduation party with cake and congratulations all around. Serino said the whole incident, it was beyond my wildest imagination. Now, we're not sure if he's talking about the newfound fame or the fact that the city has finally fixed his pothole. Now, this story is all but finished, but while we are researching this story, we were reminded of this amazing picture of Frank Serino staring at the pothole and realized this picture is such a good representation of so many emotions. So we might keep Frank around to give us his thoughts on the news. For example, we were largely all right with the new Mulan remake, but Frank is a Mulan purist. So here he is watching the 2000 trailer for 2020's remake. You can see the original poster in the back, and you can be sure he isn't happy about the lack of Mushu. Now, in strange weather news, Las Vegas is going through an event of biblical proportions as grasshoppers are descending upon Nevada due to an unusually wet spring. However, the amount of grasshoppers that have come to gamble is honestly pretty terrifying. There are so many grasshoppers in the area that meteorology scans have mistaken the grasshopper horde for a thunderous rainstorm. According to CNN, a state entomologist has said that this plague-like grasshopper swarm has happened a handful of times over the past half century, but that doesn't make this any less horrifying. Either way, if you're heading over to Las Vegas anytime soon, be vigilant and catch those grasshoppers at the slots. However, here's a picture we managed to get from our old friend Frank Serino on his trip to Las Vegas. Clearly none too happy with how the grasshoppers have made Sin City their new home. In sports news this week, a lucky fan has just been signed to the Oakland Athletics after a video of him throwing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball at a speed pitch challenge went viral. The story began at a minor league game when the 23-year-old, who reportedly hadn't pitched since high school, clocked 96 miles an hour for the first time, and he then began training and had been talking with the A's for a couple months before the video went viral. But in mid-July, Nathan Patterson stepped up and ripped a couple 96-mile-an-hour fastballs on the radar, and the A's called him the next day. He now has a contract, and according to Deadspin, will most likely start in the minor leagues and work his way up. It's a pretty inspiring story, and one of our producers has quite the arm. So we decided to try and recapture the viral magic Nathan Patterson had that got him a contract. Check it out.
How was that?
Dude, 150!
150?
150!
No way, dude.
I can't believe I even caught that.
150?
Bro.
I've never pitched that fast. Hold on.
Who's that?
Hello? Yeah, it's Connor. Alex Cora? Like the manager of the Red Sox wants to... yeah, I'll be right there. Yeah, of course. I'm not doing anything for like the next 5 years. Of course not. Yeah.
Wait, Connor, we've got a show.
Huh? Oh, hold on 1 second. Yeah, I know, dude, but like this is actually like pretty big, so...
But it's on tonight.
On tonight? I mean, like, dude, I'm gonna pitch for the Red Sox. You kidding me? Yeah, sorry about that. I was just dealing with some of my subordinates. Yeah. No, yeah, I'll be in contract negotiations. I'll be ready to go. Yeah, did you back up? Yeah.
Where are you going? We have a show. Where are you going? We have a show. We have a show.
You know, Connor actually didn't come into work today, and we haven't heard from him for a couple of days. So we assume everything worked out for him. Look for him on the mound coming in relief for the rest of the season. Who knows? Maybe he could be the one to turn around this terrible Red Sox season. It seems like we have dumb Disney news to share every week, and this week, unfortunately, is no different. Disney has announced that they plan to remake the popular Christmas movie franchise Home Alone. In the age where everything Disney is getting remade, from The Lion King to Mulan, we probably should have seen this coming. But even still, the star of the original Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, took to Twitter to give an outlook on what Home Alone would look like in 2019. He also asked Disney to call him if they were looking for casting, which would be the only way I'm seeing this movie, to be honest. But we think Disney is overstepping their bounds on this one. It's easy to remake The Lion King. It's a timeless story. Same with Mulan. But getting Home Alone to work in 2019 is going to be the hardest part. It just doesn't seem to make sense as a premise. To demonstrate, Connor and Todd decided to try their hand at the remake. Check it out. Good?
Sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, it will be a brand new day. My heart won't hurt so bad. Blue skies will chase the rain away.
Todd?
I long to not feel so sad. Just skip and jump on my way. Sure as the moonlight glows so brightly, I'll be feeling fine, I know. I can see that
You left without me.
silver lining. It's getting clearer every day. Dark.
Hello?
Why are you calling me from the back?
Yeah, idiot. You left without me.
Yeah, I'll be there in like 2 seconds. Give me a second.
Yeah, I know you're in a rush. Just come back and get me. We're gonna miss our flight.
That saying must be true. Just live one day at a time. Your soul will guide you through and through. Sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, I'll look for that sunshiny day.
The hell is this thing? Oh! So, after the news, we always air something relating to the national holiday of the week. And we do this in a multitude of ways. Sometimes we go out and we buy the product, like ice cream, or we do a funny sketch or an informative video. But whether it's National Pet Fire Safety Day, National Ice Cream Day, National Photography Day, we are very serious about celebrating these holidays. So take a look and see what we made.
All right, guys. It's International Joke Day today. What are we gonna do for a bit?
Oh, we just had the straight Pride Parade people last week. That would have been perfect.
Damn it, you're right. We wouldn't have even had to film a bit or anything. But I was thinking we can work some classic jokes into John's monologue.
Classic jokes.
Yeah, like knock-knock jokes or dad jokes or Jerry Seinfeld airplane jokes. You know, like palatable.
You mean like boring?
All right, Todd, what do you have in mind?
Easiest joke in the book. Whoopee cushions. Hey Connor, can you come in here for a second?
Yeah. Yeah, what's up?
Not much. Can you just have a seat for me? Bony ass broke it!
I'd rather be palatable than crude, Todd.
What about stand-up? We could have John try some stand-up on the show.
Hey, everybody, what about that guy, Trump? Hey, I'm going to be here all week, so make sure you tip the waitress and the veal's really good, okay, everybody? No, seriously. Take my mother-in-law. Seriously, take her.
Ugh.
No, that was just a bad idea.
No, let's not do that.
Never again.
Come on, guys. There's got to be something. International Joke Day is like the easiest day we've had to do.
Actually, I didn't even realize it was International Joke Day. I'm celebrating International Reggae Day.
But we can't do anything with that, Todd.
Whatever, man. One love.
All right, Allison, what are we doing?
Well, I'm celebrating Canada Day, so before the show tonight, I was just gonna take a quick run up to Tim Hortons.
The nearest Tim Hortons is in like Vermont.
Yeah, I know. So I only have a couple hours, so I better get going. I'll see you later, eh?
You know what? F it. This show is the joke. That's the bit.
You got that kind of money?
From the disc. What's up, guys? Connor and Todd from Good Night, and it is National Thread the Needle Day. And since World Trick Shot Day is in December, we kind of interpolated the meaning of National Thread the Needle Day to mean trick shots. So we did a lot of really rad trick shots for you guys, and in this video, check it out.
Oh.
We hit it first try. First try. There it is.
You got that on camera?
Yep. I think that went in and out.
Can we call it in?
I don't know. Hey! All right, so we're up here in the mezzanine. We're gonna start down in the Goodnight set down there. We're gonna throw it up through this barn door, and we're gonna go all the way through here, out through this barn door, into the kitchen. Let's go, baby! First try! You did it, baby. Happy National Thread the Needle Day!
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's do a show.
Let's do a show. Dude Perfect, we're coming for you. Harry. Who's your good boy? Come on. Up on the chair, up the thing. Come on. He's pissed. Alright, we're gonna be good boy and sit. Affix a pet window cling. Write down the number of pets in your home and any other information firefighters might need and attach it to your front door. This will give them vital information when entering your home.
Hi, Todd here from Good Night. And one thing for your pet's safety is to make sure that you extinguish any open flames that are in your house, including stovetops. And if you have a fireplace, that would be a good place to make sure that your pets are safe around and extinguish it when you leave the house. Because pets like this little jumpy guy can jump up and potentially spread a fire or cause a fire in your home, which can put their lives at risk. Don't scratch me. I'll have to kill you.
Hey, Ellie. Are we part of a video? Since pets left alone can't escape a burning home, make sure your smoke detectors are wired to a monitoring center. This gives an added layer of protection beyond battery-operated smoke alarms.
Another thing that you can do for your pets is to make sure that you pet-proof your home, especially for fires. There are appliances like your stovetop. A cat like this one could jump up and accidentally turn on your stove or your oven. So make sure, again, it's just like child-proofing, but pet-proof the home. That way they can't potentially start any fires that will put you and your pet at risk.
Practice escape routes with your pet. Keep collars or leashes nearby in case of emergency. That way either you or a firefighter can lead your pet out of the house. It's gonna be kind of hard for you, isn't it? You're not really gonna follow a path that we practice, are you? Yeah, let's practice a route, Oski, right now. Come on, let's practice a route. Ah!
Another thing you can do is keep pets near entrances. This is especially true. We do this for this young pup, and that's because if there ever is a fire, that gives them the best chance to escape. Especially something near the ground floor is preferable, just so that if there's an issue, they have an ability to escape, just like you would want to have the ability to escape yourself.
And also, make sure to secure any loose wires and keep glass bowls off of your wooden decks, as sun rays can catch the glass bowl and start a fire on your deck. You got a nice shot of Zig there. There he is.
Is I just got a face full of hair. I don't know if you caught that. I like pet him and right in the face.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me.
All right.
Begin eating your muffins in 3, 2, 1.
Going down.
No, you're going down.
It's so hard to do.
Very hard. Like stick to the inside of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You should have had water ready to go.
I think so. I like milk.
Yeah. Or milk. What are you guys done? Ah! What the How'd you do that?
Oh my god.
I guess we have our champion.
It's alright, you want to lay in the tray? The rest of yours?
No, mine.
Alright.
That was a good game, sir.
Good game.
Well played.
I need something to drink.
Yeah. I don't blame you. This was National Blueberry Muffin Week, and this is us celebrating it. And Todd can eat muffins better than I can. Stay tuned for more Good Night.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So here on World Photography Day, I'm going to use a few words to tell you some cool facts and amazing history about photography. So you've probably seen this grouping of shots before, maybe in an animation. It was taken by Edward Muybridge in 1878. So Muybridge got the shot by setting up 24 cameras 27 inches apart from one another and having a horse run through at 36 miles per hour. It was done to put the biggest debate of the time to rest. Do horses' hooves fully leave the ground when they're galloping? Turns out they do, but the ramifications of this on the photography world were immense. So much so that the standard Muybridge used 140 years ago is still the standard in Hollywood films today. The 24 individual cameras took 24 individual frames of the horse running in a single second. Now this is equivalent to film's usage of frames per second to describe how many times the camera shutters or takes a single picture in a second. This is the standard for most Hollywood films. But what took Muybridge 24 separate cameras spread out over 51.75 feet, in addition to hours in the development room after the shot, I can do right now. In fact, the sports games you watch are captured in 60 frames per second, which is why they look so much more fluid than your average Hollywood movie. So, if Muybridge wanted to capture this sweet dunk back in 1878, he would need 36 more cameras evenly spread out over the same distance. In the original shoot, he spaced them 27 inches apart, but for this, he'd have to space them around 10 inches apart, and they'd span the entire length of the court. Now that's a pretty tall ask, and it's going to get kind of cramped when you're working with big boy cameras like they were back in 1878. Photography is an amazing thing. It can capture the social climate of an era. It can show us how beautiful our world is. Or it can help me show off how cute my cat is. But whatever you use it for, I hope you enjoy and celebrate World Photography Day.
So, for season 2, we got 2 new segments for you guys. One of which features radio personality Lucy Burge taking you through This Week in Music History, where she talks about important events, lives, deaths of famous musicians that happened on the very week that the show airs. And another thing we added was our trending segment, in which we take the top 5 trending terms, or not top 5, but generally interesting trending terms on Twitter, and we throw them up on the TV and we talk about them with a panel that usually involves Todd and Nick Featherston, John Featherston's son. So we'd like to thank Nick, first of all, for coming in every week and subjecting himself to this, and Lucy for delivering some fun, informative content for all you music lovers out there. But also, we wanted to highlight some things from those 2 segments, and hopefully we'll have some new stuff for you coming in season 3. Check it out.
This is Lucy Burge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1965 when the Beach Boys song California Girls was at number 3 on the US singles chart. In 1970, Elton John made his US live debut when he started his 17-date tour at the Troubadour in Los Angeles. Don Henley, Quincy Jones, and Leon Russell were all in the audience that night. Also in 1970, Edwin Starr started a 3-week run at number 1 on the US singles chart with War. What is it good for? In 1975, Bruce Springsteen released his 3rd studio album, Born to Run. In 1978, Frankie Valli went to number 1 on the US singles chart with the Barry Gibb song, Grease. In 1987, Sonny Bono announced that he was running for mayor of Palm Springs, California. He won that election in 1988. In 1991, Pearl Jam released their debut album, 10. In 1993, Snoop Dogg was released on $1 million bail after being accused of being involved in the murder of a gang member. In 1995, Seal went to number 1 on the US singles chart with Kiss from a Rose. In 1999, Lou Bega went to number 1 on the UK singles chart with Mambo No. 5. Great song. And in 2001, Aaliyah was killed in a plane crash in the Bahamas. She was 22 years old. In 2003, Rolling Stone magazine named Jimi Hendrix the greatest guitarist in rock history. In 2005, Suge Knight was hospitalized after being shot in the leg at a party hosted by Kanye West. And in 2009, the Los Angeles coroner confirmed Michael Jackson's death was a homicide caused by propofol. This has been Lucy Burge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lucille Burge.
Oh, this will be good. Hashtag Area 51. This kind of blew up the internet last week. What do you guys think?
Gonna see them aliens.
Definitely gonna see them aliens.
Let's see them aliens. So, Area 51, it's real, huh?
Oh, it's a real place, yeah.
They're definitely storing something in there that they don't want people to see.
Like if there wasn't something like crazy in there, they wouldn't be like so secretive about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think's in there?
Aliens. Or some sort of like experiments.
There are also rumors about like mermaids, that mermaids are real and they might be hiding them in there too.
Mermaids, Loch Ness Monster. Pretty much like all the supernatural creatures that like everyone's like, oh no, those don't exist.
Just so the few people out there who don't know what Area 51, where is it, what is it?
It's a secret military government compound in Nevada that's like super top secret, like nobody...
It's literally in the middle of the desert.
Like super remote location, nobody can like get there. Like the sad reality with this Area 51 thing is like once you step foot on there, you'll probably be shot on sight.
The government would never do that, would it?
Oh, no, totally not.
Now, 1 million people signed up for this event.
I almost did.
And why didn't you?
Well, because at this point, I'm afraid I'm going to get put on a government watch list.
Like you're not already on one. Come on.
Okay, well, yeah.
You're related to this gentleman. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Needless to say.
you're done for. Yeah, you're done for. I don't know, Todd. What do you think? You think we'll make the trip out? Probably.
I think we should with a camera.
I was gonna say we should.
We'll
take
do
a
that.
camera.
We'll get the whole Goodnight crew down there.
We'll all get arrested and stuff.
They can't stop us all.
Maybe we can take a selfie with some aliens or something like that. Should be good. I mean, is this guy a nut or what are you guys thinking?
I mean, he said he's not gonna do it, but
Well, the reality is that whether or not it was started as a joke or not, people are gonna do it.
People are gonna do it.
Like there are, I would say a good couple, at least 100 people are gonna show up. Like actually.
I think you're right. Should be something to stay tuned to.
Yeah.
This is Lucy Burge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1968 when the Jackson 5 signed a one-year contract with Motown Records. In 1969, the Beatles started working on the John Lennon song Come Together at Abbey Road Studios in London, of course. Also in 1969, Aretha Franklin was arrested for causing a disturbance in a parking lot in Detroit. In 1973, Jim Croce started a 2-week run at #1 on the singles chart with Bad Bad Leroy Brown. Also in 1973, David Bowie released the single Life on Mars, which is appropriate for this week in history. In 2000, Oasis was booed off stage during a show in Switzerland after singer Liam Gallagher insulted the audience. In 2007, Ja Rule and Lil Wayne were arrested after a concert in New York on charges of carrying illegal firearms. In 2011, Amy Winehouse was found dead at her home in London. She was 27. And in 2017, Justin Bieber was banned from performing in China because he had engaged in bad behavior. This has been This Week in Music History with Lucy Burge. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lucille Burge for both.
First, and we covered it in the pop news segment tonight, Home Alone. What do you guys think? Why is Home Alone trending on Twitter, and will it work?
it won't. I think our segment said it all. It's 2019. You have cell phones, unless some catastrophe happens.
Yeah,
you have
like-
the internet and everything.
Kids are more capable than we give them credit for these days.
Wouldn't some group now that just call them out and say, "Oh my gosh, this is child abuse"? You're like, you left your kid at home. How dare you? I mean, in today's overly sensitive world, but
Well,
wouldn't
that
be
too.
the case?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was child abuse back then, still too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Home Alone, but
Great movie.
oh yeah, but even back then, it's still kind of like, come on. Like
Yeah.
you can't
How
just
can
call
you
the
forget your
can't
kid?
call the police. Also, like
Yeah.
yeah. Number one, how do you forget your kid like that? And two, he can't just call the police. Also, he takes on two. I forget if they're armed or not, but he takes on two fully grown
No.
like robbers.
They were idiots. I mean,
well, yeah, but
yeah, but to your point, like, why wouldn't you just call the police?
also
and-
some of his traps would have killed them.
Now, if they remade it with him in the movie, and he was like a bad babysitter or a bad parent, I think that they could pull it off. But there's just no way you can pull off a remake of that.
No.
No,
It'd
not
be just
today.
lame.
I recently found out there's like 5 of them.
5 Home Alones?
Yeah, I think Macaulay Culkin's only in the first 2, but there's like 5 Home Alone movies, I think. Maybe not 5, but there's more than like the 2 that everyone knows.
He could probably use a paycheck or something like that.
Probably.
All right, any other comments on Home Alone?
No,
Just not going to work.
No.
just
It's
not
just
gonna work.
not going to work, even if they stream it. You know, the new Disney thing is pretty interesting. The streaming, they say it'll take out Netflix. I don't know that. It's
I don't know. I saw this cool deal that they're doing because Disney now also owns Hulu. They're like bundling Hulu and Disney Plus, and then ESPN apparently has a streaming service. You
it's
get
owned
them
by
all.
Disney,
Get them
yeah.
all for $12.99 a month.
We will see. Cut the cord. You might not need cable anymore. So.
Well, I disagree with that.
But we'll see.
And finally, what is Good Night without hard-hitting interviews? So we're going to throw together a supercut of some of the greatest moments from our awesome interviews that took place this season. Check it out.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because today it was said on the Boston radio that today, in today's world, it might be the most dangerous time to be on the radio right now. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And the fact that there have been talk show hosts who were suddenly unceremoniously let go, you know that the reason for that is because the owners of the station just don't have the guts, the intestinal fortitude, to take the criticism that comes their way, and some of it is quite vituperative, by the way,
Right.
to take the criticism that comes with having somebody on your station who irritates a number of people.
Do people need to know, or how can they get involved?
The best way that they can get involved is if they keep an eye out on Facebook. When you see a tragedy happen, reach out and just ask, what can I do to help? That's one of the main things. You know, what this entire ride did is brought the biker community, the veteran community, and the public together for awareness that when one is hurting, we are all hurting. That's where we want to go. Just reach out. Sometimes just reaching out and asking, is there anything I can do, can be one of the biggest things you can do to help ease pain, too.
What's Belichick's mood been around training camp this season? Grumpy as ever, or?
No, I think it's been good. I think the one thing he doesn't want to talk about is the Nick Caserio situation.
That was an odd press
Caserio-
conference over the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, because certainly Caserio thought about leaving for Houston, and who could blame him? You know, he is the de facto GM here, but he's not really the GM because, Bill has full control and final say. And so if he went to Houston, he would get a big pay increase and not only a big pay increase, but also he would have final say. So his contract runs through the 2020 draft. So I do think, I agree, Karen Guregian wrote this in the Herald. I agree with her that I think this is Caserio's final year, and I think Belichick doesn't want to talk about it. It's a little bit, I think it is an awkward situation because, now he wanted to leave and now he's back. And look, guys always look for advancement, but it became so public and the nastiness between the franchises now, Houston, Bill O'Brien, the coach there is the former Patriots offensive coordinator, Romeo Burnell, the defensive coordinator was the defensive coordinator in New England, so there's a lot of connection. And because of that, I think that there's a lot of nastiness. Jack Easterby, who was the character coach, left for a front office position with Houston. He was a Patriots character coach. So there's some animosity. They play this year in Houston, and I think that we'll see we'll see how it turns out. But I do think I wouldn't be surprised if Caserio moves on to Houston in 2020.
This is too important of an issue. And like I said, I like to think this isn't a partisan issue. I think this is an awareness issue and the impacts that are going to be had because, sure, a pro-business platform is always, something that a legislator can get behind. But the consequences of this, I think, are going to be way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, especially in a time when we're seeing media being chastised, correctly or not, from our president down.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also losing our local connection. You mentioned it earlier about getting local news.
Mm-hmm.
Number of newspapers are being cut. People are being laid off. The independent media is not where it used to be years ago. And community media, as it stands even today, is in some instances the last bastion of localism to spread community news to a community. I know all of us are on social media. All of us get a lot of information from social media, but you also need to take some of that information with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
You may get news from a friend, and that person you may think is extremely reliable, but they may be passing along something that may not necessarily be true. And that's the fault sometimes of social media. And you kind of need this buffer of independent local media to be that nonpartisan voice to allow all voices to be on in a local community. And it's at peril right now. It really is.
You're watching Good Night. We're tuned, and we're talking to Keith Tebow from the North Alliance for Community Media. And Keith, you brought up a huge point that I think gets kind of glossed over now. with the downsizing of local newspapers and local media and the newspaper business as a whole, a lot of times in smaller communities, the newspaper actually watches the tape meeting from the local cable access companies and does the reporting on it 2, 3, 4, sometimes even a week after. So think about that. Your local newspaper goes away. Your local cable access channel goes away or gets downsized dramatically. You're not going to get any news. You're not going to get any news. And people's, why did my water bill go up? Why didn't I know this road was going to be closed? Why did they close the library? People are not going to know this stuff. And I think people are going to be outraged.
So that's going to do it for season 2 of Good Night. And we wrapped everything up. We showed you all the cool stuff we did this season. And hopefully for season 3, we have a bunch of new cool stuff to show you. So before we go, I'd like to thank Todd Carter and Allison Rose. They are my co-producers on this show, and they help me out whenever I can. This show would not be possible without them. John, of course, the host of this show, securing guests and making whatever I write for him funny when he sits at this desk every week. And lastly, I want to thank you for tuning in week to week and checking us out and supporting the show, because it really means a lot. So we'll see you in a couple weeks for season 3. And signing off, this is Connor. Good night, everybody.